Welcome to Backwoods Pursuit. I'm Gabe Garish, and today we're doing our second test of this Gunwerks Nexus rifle. Again, this is the long-range package from Gunwerks. It comes in, with this one particularly, is a 20-inch barrel, chambered in 6.5 PRC. The long-range package includes some Gunwerks ammo. It's supposed to be good out to 1,000 yards. First test we did was that 1,000 yards out of the box challenge. I'll put a link in a card up here as well as a link down in the description. There's some reference data in that video that's going to apply to this one. But in today's video, we're testing for 5 data points down at the range to include the following items. First thing, we're going to see is this actually zeroed like it's supposed to be when it comes out of the box. Second data point, what kind of grouping are we going to get with that Gunwerks ammunition that comes with this long-range package? The next 3 data points are going to come from our Garmin Zero. We're going to set that up, the chronograph there. We're going to test for the standard deviation, the average velocity of the 5-shot group we're going to run through this, as well as the extreme spread. Once we do that, we'll come back here to the studio and go over that data, provide that information for you. Really give it a good idea of how this thing is going to perform. Let's jump in the truck, head down to the range, and get started.
Bullseye, but mostly correct.
Oh. All right, we pulled our targets, came back to the shop here. We're going to go over the data points that we tested for. The first one was the gun zeroed out of the box. As you can see, when we were shooting there, it appeared to be zeroed about a minute low, 1 inch low. This was a 100-yard range, which actually did coincide really well with our results at the 1,000-yard test. If you remember and you saw in that video, hit steel at 1,000 yards, and it was a 16-inch a plate that was 16 inches tall. Did hit the bottom of that plate, so that would coincide very well with what we found on that 1,000-yard test, just about a minute low. The second testing point was the grouping we got out of that Gunwerks 140 grain Burger Elite Hunter ammo. It came in at less than a half MOA. Pretty impressive for right out of the box. You know, I can't shoot a whole lot better than that myself, so the ammunition itself and the rifle could be even better than that, but it was less than a half minute in its grouping right out of the box. Now, on a side note, I did also work up a load like I mentioned, or brought some loads to test out, and it worked up a new load really, really easily. In fact, the new load that I worked up was a 147 grain Hornady ELDM bullet, and that one came in at, again, less than a half minute, 0.427 was that. So super impressive, and that only took 9 rounds to find that load. Really, really easy. The easiest a load has ever worked out for me, so I was really impressed by that. Now the next 3 data points came from the Garmin Zero chronograph that we had set up while we were doing this 5-shot group. Again, this was a 5-shot group. You can do a lot more and get even more accurate data, but that's what we did for this particular test. The average velocity came in at 3,018 feet per second, which was very close to the stated expected muzzle velocity from the Gunwerks ammo. They state that to be expecting a 3,030 feet per second. So very close there in our test here. Now, the other two data points that we tested for here were the extreme spread and the standard deviation. The extreme spread is simply the difference in velocity from the lowest recorded to the highest recorded velocity. That came in at 23.2 feet per second. That is excellent. Anything in the teens is absolutely incredible, but 23.2 feet per second is very, very good. You're not going to even be able to notice that hardly until you get out to extreme long ranges. So that is fantastic. The standard deviation came in at 7.9 feet per second. And if you're not familiar with standard deviation, all that is the variation off of the average velocity. So in this case, 3,018 feet per second. So the standard deviation would be the velocity in feet per second off of that average. So the standard deviation we got with this was 7.9 feet per second in either direction. So very, very good. Anything in the single digits is incredible. So very good performance, very consistent performance out of this, the combination of this rifle and that ammunition, which is what you're looking for. So very, very impressive. Overall, it's been really impressed with this rifle. The new load worked up really, really easily. I've never had a load come together in just 9 rounds before personally, so that was certainly a new record for me, just how easy this was to develop that new load, and then a new load that was shooting at 0.427 MOA. So incredible there. Super happy with that. Overall though, we're going to continue to test this. We've got a match coming up this weekend. We're going to put a lot of rounds through this in some real world match situations and just see how it does over the course of a long shoot like that. So continue to stay tuned. We're going to be doing some more testing where you're going to hunt with this fall as well, see how it does out in the field. Drop any questions or comments. Love to help you out if we can, and we'll see you next time.